I have not gotten any other updates on it, but I'm hoping that I can get some more information on it, or hoping that the Roxanne Covenant would be activated so that persons can move forward and get any information that they need in relation to whether they can acquire properties, or in relation to their properties that they have existing in Rock Sound. All right, let's move on. We had big drama this week in the news involving the Prime Minister and Guardian reporter of the PLP-leaning newspaper, Candia Dames. We say, well, I always believe Guardian was PLP and Tribune was F&M. Now, that may not necessarily be the case, but yeah, in politics, that's what we always thought. All right? But the Prime Minister exploded on Candia Dames because there was some foul-up in relation to communication that he had in relation to in relation to the budget communication that he presented. The Prime Minister said in April that they had a projected surplus of $135 million. 130. So he said by the end of the year, the budget surplus would be $75 million. When the real numbers came down, it was discovered that instead of having a surplus, this is April numbers now, instead of having a surplus of $135 million, we had a negative of $2 million. So that 135 in the positive became 137 in the negative. And so that's a whole disaster in itself in terms of budgeting, because really and truly, yeah, this money ain't looking right. Now, the Prime Minister don't want to take responsibility for this. He attacked Candia Dames, and maybe because he's a politician, so he's using it as a distraction tactic to cause us to not pay attention to the fact that, wait a minute, Mr. Prime Minister, you told us it was 135 million and come to in surplus, and now we find out it's 2 million deficit and not surplus as you suggested, and that's a problem. So he said, you know what? Look that way. Look that way. Don't look at me screwing up. Look that way. So now, I don't believe that the Prime Minister came up with these numbers himself. I believe, he is the Prime Minister. He don't have time to sit down and go and punch the calculator to see what's what. He has to provide the information that is provided to him. And so, and I'm sure that he got that from whoever his financial person is, financial secretary, treasurer, and I think Simon Wilson is the person. And so, Mr. Prime Minister, maybe rather than focusing on Candia, you need to fire Simon. Simon Wilson needs to be fired, because it's no way that you could be off by 137 million. Because that's what the figure is off by. If you said the surplus was 135 million, but you find out you do not have a surplus, which means that 135 million does not exist, but you do have a deficit of 2 million, then the budget was off by $137 million. Which means Simon, or whoever Simon assigned, or they sold you a lie. They made you look foolish. Not Candia. Candia only reported the information. She reported it. The Tribune reported it. All the other major news outlets reported this information.